Hello Fanatics, welcome to Flow with the Markets. Wednesday, it is the 24th of April, so we already have some price action into the market. We're already having some movement, so of course, this video is all about going through the pairs. We usually cover in the weekly outlook and setups, having a look how they developed on Monday and Tuesday, and potentially draw conclusions, potentially make a forecast for today, and of course for the rest of the week. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and get into the analysis. All right, starting with the DXY. Now, again, guys, make sure to be checking out your economic calendar because we don't really have a lot of news. Like, if I just quickly go to check out the economic calendar, we can see that for the rest of today, we just have like a couple of Canadian news here. Well, yeah, pretty much retail sales. We have this medium impact USD news. Then the day after, we have unemployment claims, advanced GDP, and the home sales for the US. Nothing in London. So tomorrow on the 25th of April, I would expect maybe US session to be active. And then on Friday, the final day, we're having a lot of JPY news. And we also have some USD news during US session, which is again, London is dead. Now, what I have spotted and reflected upon throughout the last couple of trading weeks is that when there are news in New York, the market is usually going to move at New York. So again, London is usually not very tradable. Right, so if we actually have a look at what is happening right now, well, as we forecasted, we are tapping that weekly bullish imbalance on the DXY. Once again, to remind ourselves that we are overall bullish as well on the monthly, traveling towards that monthly high, or tapping into a monthly point into a weekly point of interest, potentially targeting that monthly high. So right now, again, the main question is, are we already going to start pushing higher from this weekly candle? So is this weekly candle already going to start turning bullish and pushing higher? Or are we going to close like that bearish and then potentially next week to come in, sweep the previous candle low, and then potentially continue going higher and targeting first that weekly high and then targeting even the monthly high? That is the big question. How do we know whether that is going to happen? Is by going to read the lower time frames. Now, on the daily time frame, currently, by the time that I'm speaking, we are potentially about to create a new daily bearish imbalance. Now, if we actually cross this line today, which is our daily imbalance invalidation level, we are not going to make it. So preferably, I would like to see today within the next 11 hours by the time I'm recording this video for us to pop a little bit higher to fill that potential daily imbalance. And then potentially tomorrow, I can already start looking for the continuations higher. But if we actually make this daily imbalance, then of course the market is going to have a lot of struggle to potentially push higher. So we might have like a tap of the imbalance, maybe a reaction, and then a consolidation, and maybe next week to take out the weekly low, and then to potentially go. So currently it is a little bit of a bet to potentially say, okay, we're actually going to go right now towards the highs, or we're going to end up consolidating for the rest of the week. So we had Tuesday yesterday, we had a lot of PMIs. The market tapped into the weekly imbalance. Today, we are sweeping the previous daily low on the DXY, and we're already shifting very nicely towards like bullishness. Dropping onto the hourly time frame, after we took out that previous daily low, we are right now starting to print bullish hourly imbalances. We had this hourly bearish one, but as you can see, this one kind of, by the time it actually got tapped, we already had a brand new hourly one, and right now we're also building a potential another one. So I am starting to see that shift of sentiment, but once again, your trend doesn't really shift until you get a hard high. So currently, like we're actually still bearish in terms of structure, if you actually look at structure, but I nowadays look a lot more at imbalances and momentum rather than structure, because structure right now can be bearish, but momentum and order flow shifts, and you're going to get 10 longs. Meanwhile, you're still looking for shorts based on structure. Okay, so keep that in mind. So what I essentially want to see right now is for the market to pull back, to tap into an imbalance, and then to potentially make another one to expand higher. And then I'm going to trade that second one. That is going to be the highest probability trades that you can potentially look to enter. Lower probability trade right now will be to already start looking for longs. Okay, low probability. So of course, right now, if you get some sort of a pullback, you can already start getting into longs, potentially forecasting that this week is already going to start expanding, and then potentially next week is gonna make the bigger expansion. So that is the current situation of the DXY. I am looking at this hourly zone. We're also having a brand new hourly zone being formed right now. Also on the hourly time frame, we're getting a very nice push pullback. So looking forward to see if we're going to be following through to the upside to then get engaged. So overall, this weekly zone is reacting so far, but again, we really have to see whether it's going to follow through. So with that being said, on the DXY, which is the most important pair, right? Well, it's not a pair, right? It's a basket of all the major currencies. We know that it's reacting, but still it hasn't shifted. And that is exactly the case with the rest of the pairs. Euro USD is also pulling back into that weekly imbalance, looking pretty good. On the daily time frame, we're also potentially going to print a daily bullish imbalance today, which is definitely not great. If this one prints, the market is going to then struggle to break it. It's going to maybe have a day of a reaction, and then we're potentially going to break. So if today we have that daily bullish imbalance, tomorrow I'm going to be waiting for that one to fail before I jump into any trades. Okay. Now, then we drop to the 40 time frame, and just in 1 hour, we are going to have a bearish forward imbalance, which is the very first sign that the market could potentially be reversing. But again, I don't say the market is reversing. The market could potentially reverse from that zone. Again, you can see coming into that zone, we're having a forward bullish. Looks like it doesn't want to hold. We're printing a forward bearish. So actually, I have some sort of an alert here. If this one actually closes like this, and if we get a tap inside this forward zone, I will be looking for an entry, trying to take a bet once again that the market is going to reverse. And this is going to be pretty much the weekly high that formed pretty much on Wednesday's Asian session after taking out that previous daily high. It looks pretty good, honestly. So this is my setup. This is what I'm focused on Euro USD, trying to take a short. Then if we have that daily bullish imbalance tomorrow, then the market is going to enter into some struggle. If it breaks eventually, then I think we can very easily run lower because all we have is some flat lows here. So that is Euro USD. Looking nicely bearish right now, getting that first sign of a potential reversal, looking to confirm this forward zone on lower time frame like 15.5, 1 minute, and then to potentially enter into a trade. GU opened the week in a very bearish manner. It really very nicely flushed lower. Some alert pinging. And right now it's starting to recover very strongly. Let us not forget that this one is tapping into a monthly bullish imbalance that is not filled. And we're filling it right now. So we can again expect some sort of a struggle for the market to give us a bigger pullback. It is also tapping into this OB to the left, this singular sell candle before a very big buy with an imbalance. This is, according to me, what the significance of an order block or demand zone. And we're still having that weekly bearish imbalance. So again, the question is, are we traveling towards that weekly imbalance, then sell off from there, or are we going to sell off immediately? So as you can see, GU is slightly bit different than EU and the DXY. It hasn't tapped the weekly imbalance yet. It had a bearish daily imbalance that already formed so we had a Friday expansion. Monday confirmed that daily bearish imbalance, but then Tuesday massively popped higher with all the PMIs. We also had some GBP news, and today we are potentially going to be creating a daily bullish imbalance, which puts like everything, if you think about perspective and about the overall sentiment of the market. If EU is gonna go down, well, GU should also go down. But if GU has that beautiful daily imbalance, which by the way EU could also have one, as you can see, then that is going to be a lot of resistance for the market to push down. And as we have the GU still having that weekly bearish imbalance, well, that daily can potentially drive us into the weekly. So that is something that I'm observing, because taking shorts right now on GU, it is potentially going to get a hourly bearish right now. But if we have that daily bullish, then potentially could get a little bit complex. We can tap into the 4H, drive us into the daily, drive us into the weekly, and then to potentially go lower, right? That is a very, very big forecast. It could absolutely not happen, okay? But it's all about scenarios and all about flowing with the market. So I am aware of everything that is going on right now, but I think GU does not have a lot of confluences for it to actually go down. It doesn't have a weekly imbalance like the DXY and EU does. It's not tapping into anything to the left. It is having a lot of bullish pressure coming into the highs. So if I'm to actually go short on this one, I would really like to see some bearish order flow like that to actually see that it's establishing bearish. Okay, because very recently we just had this bullish push after a bearish push followed by bullish push, very big V shape reversal pattern. So not a very big fan of GU right now. But again, similar to EU, I will be observing what happens after this fall zone taps, if we're going to reverse lower. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be observing if we have that daily bullish imbalance and what are we going to be doing from there. Because if this daily bullish imbalance holds, it can drive us into the weekly, right? And overall, that monthly zone, let's not forget, we are in a monthly zone. And tapping into a monthly zone, the reversal does not happen automatically. It's going to take probably 2 weeks to reverse. We had 1 week tapping in, second week coming in, and then the third week is sweeping previous weekly low and showing us some signs. So again, stay open-minded to GU. It is not very, very high probability. And I'm getting a lot of mixed signals. So for example, as you can see, Aussie dollar, it did not have a weekly bearish. It had this overall fair value block here. That is like the market is consolidating. It is offered fair value inside this whole area. And right now we're pulling back deep into it. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. If this was going to continue lower, it should have done from this daily imbalance to continue pushing lower towards that monthly low. It took out the daily low here and it started printing bullish daily imbalances. We already have one right there. And we are currently building another one after today closes. We're tapping into some things to the left. Here it is daily imbalance. We have this daily supply, OB candle as well that the market is tapping into. But again, is it actually going to go down after seeing this very nice bullishness and after coming that deep into the zone? It's starting to like get very 50-50 for me because this one actually is going to look very nice for longs. So again, consider it. Look into it. On the hourly time frame, we had a beautiful trade, by the way, on Tuesday. I had a look at this one. We had this very nice 4-hourly zone, exactly right there. Candle 1 comes in, candle 2 very nicely respects on the lower time frame. We did get some entry opportunities as well. A very nice run paired with Aussie CPI that we had. Right now, we're tapping into a lot of resistance, which means we're tapping into that daily imbalance. We're tapping into this OB to the left. The market is still tapping into this very recent 4-hourly zone. But again, is it going to hold? Very likely not, because we're having a daily being printed just below. So I would much prefer to trade from the daily. But if this one gives us the signs that it wants to hold, then don't hesitate on it going higher. But yet again, the DXY is also bullish. All right, all of those pairs should be going bearish, but we're seeing GU going slightly bullish. We're seeing AU going slightly bullish. NZUSD has a bank holiday, so it's pretty slow. If I'm trading something, I will definitely pick AU rather than NU. It's not clear. We had this daily imbalance. Again, took out the liquidity. Right now it's pushing higher, but unlike AU, it doesn't have bullish daily imbalances. And on the 40 time frame, I mean, it is okay. It had some bullish imbalances higher here. And the very last one is actually that one that is just getting tapped right now. So that could actually be not a very bad long to target that daily imbalance. So right now, again, we can be dropping to the 50-minute, we can be dropping to the 5-minute to wait for the market to make a trend change, to wait for the market to impulse higher, to confirm that this forward zone is holding, and then potentially look to take a trade. Okay, so if you're looking to trade NU, it's bank holiday today, so don't trade it, but we could have an easy long into that daily zone. And then afterwards, we have to observe what is happening. Okay, so that is NZUSD. Again, long bias, but overall slow. And I keep thinking about the DXY, that if the DXY is going to go long, it doesn't make sense for all the majors to be going long as well. But maybe the DXY will not hold. Maybe it's going to go down right now. After the daily imbalance forms tomorrow, maybe it's going to go down so that all of those pairs that we're seeing already signs, they can go up. Gold, it reached what we thought it could reach. Now I had two scenarios to either take out the liquidity and then head for the weekly, or to straight head for the weekly. And we did just that. We opened and we started heading for the weekly. We tapped into that weekly imbalance. So guess what? It is going to take probably a week, couple of days for you to see some sort of a reaction here, or for you to see a reversal. As you can see right now, we are actually coming inside this weekly zone with a daily zone that is again giving this supply and demand sandwich that I speak about when you're having a kind of a confusion between a daily bearish and a weekly bullish. Usually the weekly should hold, but a lot of times the lower time frames are also dictating the current order flow. So if the daily comes in very bearish, again the weekly could give a reaction to tap into the daily and then to potentially continue in new daily ranges. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to the current price action on gold, it's not tapping into that daily, it's reacting from the weekly. We have anything on the 4-hourly? Well, we do have slight tiny little bit of a 4-hourly imbalance here that is just getting tapped. I don't necessarily like it because again we're having weekly bullish, 4-hourly bullish, but the daily is bearish. We could pop higher right now into that daily, and then this daily can give a reaction, and then if that reaction is absorbed and broken, only then I'm going to be looking for longs. So again, it's the market tapping into weekly zones. It is gonna take some time. Keep repeating myself, but again, don't just look for a very simple shift and just try to get in. Wait for the market to take out all the struggle areas, like in this case, this daily imbalance. Wait for it to show you the structure and the order flow getting bullish, and then get involved. Currently, I think it's a little bit too late. You could potentially try to get involved from that 4-hourly zone if you get some clear bullish shifts. But personally, I will be waiting. There could also be a nice short from this daily zone, targeting deeper into that weekly imbalance. But again, we have to observe the DXY and what it actually wants to do. Okay, so that is gold, and I'm a little bit not really sad because I always want to give you something to work with, but oftentimes there is nothing to work with. The market is chopping, it's 50-50, and you simply have to wait and flow with the market. USD JPY, I told you, first thing it could do is just to take out the liquidity. We opened and we took out the liquidity. All right. Do we have anything new? Just by the looks of it, it is absolutely choppy. So not looking at it at all. On the daily time frame, it's fulfilled the daily target here. It's currently trying to push higher, but then on the 4-hourly time frame, it is it's not nice. I hope you would agree. So guess what? I am not touching USD JPY. Euro JPY and GJ, let's have a look. Here again, I did expect for the market to already start following through to take out the liquidity. It eventually did go there after Monday chopped, and then Tuesday, pretty much, yeah, Tuesday 8 o'clock here, just rushed into the target. Right now we're having a brand new 4-hourly zone that we can be looking to potentially react from and continue from. I would also prefer the daily to form something, and there we go. We are actually going to have a potential, again, maybe we're not, but we could have a daily imbalance going into tomorrow. In 8 hours, we might have this daily imbalance. So then tomorrow, we wait for a tap inside and we wait to see signs on the 1-hourly time frame, on the 50-minute time frame, that it is actually going to hold. Okay, so just because we have this daily bullish imbalance, that doesn't mean it's automatically gonna rocket. No, this could still be a liquidity grab for the market to right now just start going lower. Okay, so be careful. But EJ, overall long bias, again, makes me think, is EU really gonna go lower right now? EJ is long, DXY is not showing very big signs yet. So again, keep an open mind. But that is my setup on EJ. GJ, let's see, this one looks quite choppy. Okay, I have some lines here. Let me remove the lines. Whoa, wow, this is very show. Look at all those wigs. Like GJ looks absolutely nasty, and some sort of gaps are happening here. What is happening? Well, I am not gonna trade this pair, although again, similar to EJ, we might have this daily bullish imbalance, and we're still looking to take this liquidity high and that liquidity high. I mean, tomorrow there could be some sort of a long setup that I could observe, but just the overall choppiness of this pair in the recent time just doesn't make me want to trade it. I mean, EJ looks quite a lot better. I'm sure you can also find a lot of other proper JPY pairs as well. So again, pick your pairs wisely. GJ doesn't look really good, but still long bias. Indices, I told you that I'm mainly observing indices right now. They are tapping into monthly zones. SPX is tapping into monthly zone. Nasdaq is tapping into monthly zone, and US 30 already tapped one. Yeah, it's also tapping into one. So currently we are getting some sort of a reaction Like you can see this week, it has been overall bullish. On the daily time frame, just today, we're tapping into the very last and the very only on SPX bearish daily imbalance. So again, we have the sandwich, but again, monthly zone, daily zone, monthly is way stronger. Just after today, potentially we can actually have a daily bullish one that could potentially drive us higher and going bullish, because we are again tapping into a monthly zone with a daily shift going higher. The 4-hourly time frame is already shifting a couple of times. Again, you can see imbalance here, held, imbalance here, held, and we're having new bullish imbalances on the voyage, right? So I do see a lot of bullish order flow kicking in on the indices. I will be waiting for that daily imbalance to be printed, and then tomorrow look to see if we're actually going to continue higher. Exactly the same thing with Nasdaq. Nasdaq is already invalidating and breaking this daily imbalance, heading into this very tiny one. But again, in the meantime, printing a daily bullish one. Okay, we are having like a potential weekly bearish imbalance scenario, or I think on SPX, if we actually continue higher, to take out this here, that is our weekly invalidation area. We take this one out, then I do believe next week could already go higher. Nasdaq, the weekly invalidation area is a little bit higher, but that could also fill. So if we do not have a new bearish imbalance here, then that is going to be very nice to potentially then look for longs, which we're already starting to see signs of. US 30 as well already has, so it's tapping into a weekly zone, but it doesn't look like it wants to respect it so far, and it's making a new daily bullish one already. Tapping into the weekly, having a monthly below. Okay, so which one is going to hold? Well, again, you just have to wait. The best trades happen when you are waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting a lot, and then you just simply get a trade that is just, it makes absolutely no sense for it to potentially take out this low. So say the market right now holds from the weekly and starts printing daily bearish, 4-hourly bearish, hourly bearish. It's just going to be simple to target this low. While if you try to catch the top here to try to forecast whether this weekly zone is going to hold and you try to go short here, you're going to lose. So again, best thing you can take away from this video is wait for that order flow to get established and wait to see the clear signs. That is exactly the same that I speak about on the DXY. We're tapping into weekly. I want to see the bullishness. Even if I enter a trade all the way up here, I don't care, because I'm going to get my 2-3R and I'm going to enter into a very high probability trade. Right now, if I try to really forecast and try to get in very early on from this weekly zone to try to forecast that it's going to go higher, it oftentimes can result in a couple of losses. Okay, so currently it is once again all about waiting. All about waiting. We're having this fall imbalance on EU, for example, in 40 minutes. I will be looking to see how this one is going to respond, but then tomorrow we can have a daily bullish imbalance. I'm going to have to wait to see how this one is going to respond, and potentially I could take a trade definitely short here, because that looks like the only setup that we have so far this week. But again, looking for example at GU being a little bit bullish, looking at AU being quite bullish, NU is a little bit sleepy. I am slightly bit skeptical that, for example, the DXY is massively going to reverse higher right now and EU is going to drop lower. So again, trade safe, wait for the order flow to develop, wait for the market to tap the zone, wait for it to break lower, wait for it to make a new forward imbalance, wait for it to retest, and then trade with the order flow, trade with the new structure. Don't try to catch like a top, wait for it to get established, and then it's going to be very easy to be targeting all of these lows here. So guys, that is for today. Let me know if you took any trades this week so far. I haven't taken anything. I'm just very patiently waiting, evaluating. And again, I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk to potentially bet on this pair flushing here, for example. And of course, if I get stopped out, that's very good. I just took a small bet. Then I'm going to go in the opposite direction immediately. Okay, so today I'm bearish. Tomorrow I might be bullish. So again, flow with the markets. Follow what the market is showing you. Read all the time frames. Read all the zones that you have across different time frames. See if they hold, and then of course adapt. That's from me. Talk to you on Saturday.